Now to a developing story this morning. A fight between two students turns deadly. Happened Thursday at Abraham Lincoln High School in Council Bluffs. Dakota Eskrit died last night in the hospital.
3 high school students are facing charges this morning in the beating death of their classmate.
Accountability after she says her daughter was killed after she was bullied at school. Law enforcement say she died after falling downstairs.
They say Monday's fight didn't involve a weapon. The 10-year-old Renaya Wright was unconscious when first responders arrived. She died yesterday. An autopsy is planned for tomorrow.
The 10-year-old girl has died after spending several days on life support following an after-school fist fight.
The girls, all 16 years old, are accused of causing the death of Amy Joyner Francis last month in Delaware.
A family brings balloons to Landmark Middle School in Moreno Valley to remember 13-year-old Diego.
He was nice. He was funny. So I was trying hard not to cry.
My condolences goes out to them. You know, it's heartbreaking. I don't know. I really can't know what to say to a parent who lost a kid. You know, you don't know what to say to them.
The Moreno Valley Unified School District announcing Diego passed away more than a week after being critically injured following an attack on campus involving 2 other students.
An Oklahoma teen describes being attacked in their high school bathroom just hours
A middle
before
school
they died.
student fighting for a normal life tonight after an incident on the school bus lands him in the emergency operating room. Now his mother tells News 2 an older student put him in a chokehold on a Montgomery County school bus.
The Rancho High School yearbook this year paying tribute to the memory of 17-year-old Jonathan Lewis. You may remember he died in November near the school after several students beat him.
Several Leonard High School students fighting another student. Other students watched, many of them with their phones up, recording it all.
Mom says her 13-year-old daughter was attacked outside her school in Doral. Other students recording what was happening here.
See these girls kicking her in her head while other children are laughing at her.
What's up, Warriors? Welcome to a special episode of The Brave Clip. I'm Karina.
And I'm Krisha. Today we're here at Saharsh, Dean Moye, Officer Flanagan, and Officer Janos. I'm sorry if I said that wrong.
Thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you
for having us.
Before we get started, we want to give you all a chance to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to work at Sanford Middle and how long you've been here.
Okay, I will start. Dean Moye. I have been at Sanford Middle School. This is now my 9th year at Sanford. I was at Markham Woods before I came to Sanford. This is year 5 of me being a dean. Oh. And I came to Sanford because I was in the cluster of schools and there was an opening, so I decided to come over.
That's impressive.
Thank you.
My name is Officer Janos. I've been an SRO in this school for about 2-3 weeks. And I'm loving it so far. I'm so blessed to be here and thank you for this opportunity.
Did you work anywhere before here?
Yes, I was working as a police officer with the Sanford Police Department, and previous to that I was a teacher.
Oh, that's really cool. What did you teach?
Middle school and elementary
That's
grades.
why she fits in.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm Officer Flanagan, and I've been here now, 3 years? I've been an officer for 8 years total. Before Sanford Middle School, I helped out at the high school and a few of the elementary schools. I really enjoyed it, and then I did some time in my community relations unit where I was able to hang out with, kids and teachers and get to know the community a lot better. So this was my favorite position at Sanford Police Department I've had so far. Which elementary schools did you
I did Wicklow, Hamilton, Pinecrest. I've helped out pretty much all of Bentley a few times.
Oh, nice.
So.
That's a lot.
I got to meet all of y'all really before you guys came here too, so it was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're here to talk about a very important topic, school fights. According to surveys, about 20 to 25% of middle school students report being involved in a physical fight at least once during a school year. Boys tend to engage in physical fights more often than girls, though verbal and relational aggression are more common among girls.
And the fights don't go without consequences. There are, of course, academic consequences, as frequent involvement in fights can lead to suspensions, expulsions, or poor academic performance. There are also mental health, as both participants and witnesses may experience anxiety, fear, or trauma, and of course physical injuries, as even minor altercations can result in injuries requiring medical attention.
Well, for our first question, how do you think that the school handles physical altercations or fights between students?
When you say handles them, you mean on a case-by-case or just kind of general?
I'd just say in general, yeah.
Okay, so fights, of course, are case-by-case. Depends on the students who are fighting. Depends on where they're fighting. Depends on how bad the fight is, how many people are injured, if there's a history of fighting. So there's a lot of things that go into it, so every fight is different. We can't say we handle them all the same. They typically do end in consequences that are similar, suspensions of some sort. They may end up on no contact contracts. They may have other things because they got into the fight, but we try not to say a fight equals this because every situation is different and students are all different.
Yeah.
And moving on to the next question, what steps do you take to de-escalate a situation before it turns into a fight?
I would say that we, one, get to know each and every student as most as we can, because if we have a relationship with the children, they're able to feel comfortable around us when they are mad or heated or angry about a situation. Usually if they have their safe person, which I think is very important for every student here to have, has that safe person there that can understand them, and they don't realize about their feelings getting pushed off or by any means, so they are able to open up and talk about them before they escalate to physical violence.
We also encourage students to let us know before it gets to the point where they feel like it's out of control. So often kids will just take it, and then something happens that sets them off. If they told us before, they went to their safe person, they came to PBS or guidance, then we would know before it got to the point where they felt there was no other option.
Correct. That's good.
Yeah.
Next up, what do you think are the leading causes for fights in our school, and how can students avoid them?
Play fight. You guys have to keep your hands to yourself.
Play fighting, but a lot of he said, she said. You guys, almost every single student has a phone here, and that you guys start something on the weekend, and then he said, she said, this happened, and then it's everyone against one person, and that also you feel like you need to defend yourself, or you constantly feel attacked. And it's a lot of emotion that gets involved that we could avoid if we just stopped spreading unnecessary rumors that really didn't happen, or we don't know the truth either.
Yeah, I would have said, to me it's misunderstandings. A lot of times it's, I thought she said this, or she was looking at me this way, but then when you sit down and you have the conversations, it's not what they thought. And so a lot of times if people just stopped and just took a moment to have a conversation, there would be less of this need to actually get into a physical altercation. Unfortunately, also, we see an uptick in the fact that people just don't know how to cope as well as they used to. Students need to know, what can I do when I'm upset? What is my way to calm myself? And a lot of students don't know, and so they don't know how to kind of help themselves. And so if they don't have a person they can go to, it's hard to kind of keep themselves stable and get themselves back on functioning when you don't know what your coping skills are. So I think that understanding yourself, kind of understanding what sets you off and why it sets you off would help a lot of students. We do have our social personal classes and our other classes that help students kind of be able to identify when they're getting upset and what they can do to kind of calm themselves down. But a lot of it go back to what Flanagan said as far as, sometimes you just can't think for yourself. You need an adult. You need someone to help. So having that safe person, having that person you can go to, there's so many of our students who they don't even have to say anything to us. We could tell by how they're walking, how they got off the bus, if they say good morning. There's all these things that are nonverbal that we can see. And so those relationships are very critical to make sure people know.
I think a lot of our students can also agree that they see us hey, what's the matter? They're like, nothing. We're asking because we care, and we want to stop you from ever feeling upset, angered, or, for it to escalate anywhere and to anything else either, so.
Would you say that a lot of students do seek help within the school often?
I would say more times than before.
Yes, more times than before, because they're realizing there are people that are here for them that are not just part of their job. We go out of our way to make sure every student feels heard, and that's the biggest thing. That's the first step of any of this, is feeling heard, that you're not going to be put on display or not be in trouble for feeling the feelings you're having. So I
think also too, we should have had with us Miss Serencione, who's our behavior interventionalist.
Miss C, they don't
Miss
know her
C.
by that.
She also does a good job of kind of taking care of things that before they get to us in discipline. So a lot of times people feel like if they report something, it automatically comes to the deans, but that's not true. If it's an altercation that hasn't escalated, if it's two girls kind of having an issue, if it's rumors, a lot of the times that can be dealt with by Miss C before it even comes to myself or Dr. Diltz. And so it doesn't become a discipline issue, it becomes more of a behavior issue or a guidance issue where it can be taken care of before it escalates.
That's amazing.
Thank you. You're welcome.
What role do students play in resolving conflicts, and how are they encouraged to take responsibility for their actions?
I mean, students play all the role in fighting because it's not the adults who are fighting, so it's not us. I think, unfortunately, a lot of it is the bystander effect, which I'm not sure if you all know what that is. Basically, the bystander effect says the more people who are surrounding a situation, who are in a situation, the least likely anyone will actually help. And it's because everybody thinks somebody else is going to help. So when you're around a situation that has escalated to possible violence, studies have shown that the more people that are there watching, the less likely the person is going to get helped. And so that's why we ask for students not to be around fights, to kind of walk away from them, to not record them, to not get themselves involved in it, because if this is the injury of students not moving out of the way. We're trying to get to a situation to help a student, and with everybody standing and watching, it created an issue where now people are getting hurt. So a lot of it is that students, I think, freeze and they don't know what to do. But if you see something happening, it is best to just go and let someone know, even if you think everybody else is going to report it anyway. Because just because you think everybody's going to report it doesn't mean that anybody actually did.
No. Yeah. And think of it, if you're ever that victim in that situation, would you want your help being hindered and stopped before it can get to you? Mm-hmm. No. Yeah. So.
All right, moving on to the next question. What efforts does the school make to create a positive school culture that reduces the likelihood of fights?
Well, of course we have, like I said, there are some things that are very formal, like social personal classes that helps teach students who maybe don't have the coping skills how to deal when they're upset. We also have, students should be doing circles in their classes. Circles help to kind of build the community in the classroom, ensure that students feel heard and they have a voice. A lot of times when people are getting into altercations because they feel like nobody heard them, nobody was listening. So by doing those things on campus, those school-wide initiatives of circles and being able to talk to people, going to your guidance counselors, hopefully everybody knows who their guidance counselors are, because they're a great resource. So I think that the school tries to put things into place, but students have to use the resources. If you don't tell us what's going on, we can't help. And I know a lot of people feel like it's snitching and that they're, they don't want to be that person. But again, as I said in the assembly in the beginning of the school year, there's a difference between telling because you're trying to help and snitching. Snitching is you're doing it because you are trying to get something out of it.
Personal gain.
Personal gain. Like you're trying to get rewarded for it, or you're trying to get the person in trouble because you have a problem with the person. That's snitching. Telling and letting someone know that something's going on is not snitching. That's being helpful, that's being responsible, and that's being mature. But snitching is a whole different thing, and I wish that students realized that they are different.
And also having 2 police officers in here, that helps you guys to feel comfortable approaching us and talking to us so we can help you guys in a better, effective way.
Yeah.
How does the school address the root causes of fights such as stress, frustration, or personal issues in other ways?
I think that goes back to some of the other questions. We have the social personal classes. We have your safe person. You have teachers that are supposed to do the circle questions that are supposed to, ask you guys how you guys are feeling. We notice your guys' behavior shifts and changes. We know before break, everyone gets a little more excited, and they typically are. We're excited too. We want to go on our breaks too. But if we can just also remember that we are in middle school now. It's not elementary school where, a lot of things are kind of given or shown or handed to you. Middle school is where you start taking that first approach of the, pre-adulthood, where you guys start making your own decisions. You guys have to, make those final decisions that you guys are mature enough to not act out, to calm yourself down a little bit more, to reach out for help when you need it. That's kind of where you guys are at, where it's time for you guys to start identifying some of those triggers and anything that bothers you guys. You guys are maturing.
Also, with break, some people are very excited, but you also have to worry there are other students who are not, because they may not have a safe place to go. Mm-hmm. They may not have food. They may not be celebrating anything. So I think it's also up to other people to realize that everybody's not in the same situation as everybody else.
And the final question, what consequences can students expect from constantly fighting in school?
Well, I mean, we definitely have, given students plenty of time to be acclimated to Sanford Middle School at this point. Once we get back from break, we would have been in school almost a full semester, 2 quarters. So people should know the rules at this point. Consequences range, again, from suspension. They could be, unfortunately, arrested if it is considered to be an affray. They could be given so that, the law enforcement part is a huge part that parents do not want to have an officer bring you home or pick you up from the jack because you decided to fight at school. Also, the consequences of like everything else, people recording it. So now that opens you up to bullying and people, kind of letting the video never dies the way it used to be. Only people who were there saw it. Now, with people recording, it lives on. And so it creates so many other issues. But again, at this point, students should know better. We are taking the stance that you all do know better. Like Officer Jono said, the horseplaying, like people think we're being overreactive, but the reason we stop horseplay is because it typically leads to somebody getting hit too hard.
Somebody doesn't want to play that day.
Somebody's not in a good mood that day, and now it's leading to a fight. And so people think, oh, they're being so much, they're doing too much with the horseplaying, but horseplay is one of the leading causes of fights on this campus.
Your guys' safety is our number one priority.
So, do you think that fights could cause problems in high school or college, like the fights you have right now?
Absolutely. These fights, if you continue to show your aggression and, try and answer things with fighting, that follows to high school. You get kicked out right before college. Some of those colleges that you were interested in aren't going to take you because you might be a liability. You get in fights at college where it's, on school campus and stuff, they could just kick you out. It's not something where here we give you a chance and we try and help you as best as we can to change that. In college, you're an adult. That's, big boy consequences at that point, and it's not always easy to go back from that. So stopping it now would be the best interest of everybody because you want to have a great high school career so you can go play sports, academics, go to the college you've always dreamed of, join military, whatever you want. You don't want anything to hinder that. And you guys don't realize how important the things you do now can affect your future later.
Yeah, because if you are suspended and it's between you and another candidate, you're applying for CROOMS or one of the magnet programs, that fight could be the reason that you're not picked over another candidate. Also, if you're fighting and you get sent to Journeys or to an alternative assignment, that can affect your magnet status. So for those students who plan on having those successes in the future, these altercations could have lasting impacts. And of course, if you're arrested and you have to go to court and now your parents have to pay fines, it's on your record. It's a snowball, and you don't want to get yourself in that situation where you're trying to pick up the pieces, and it kind of puts you behind other people who don't engage in these activities.
And also always think you want to create this good relationship with your classmates. You start fighting, you're going to have all those results that they explain, but also you're going to be missing friendships. And then, like she also mentioned, everything's going to be recorded. That's going to be there forever. People are going to see how you behave. That's going to affect your life in school and your life outside the school. So it's everything related. You better behave nicely and stop the fight.
Also, for our 8th graders, please remember, and we will have more information coming forward after Christmas break. For our 8th graders, there's a lot to lose. Like there is the 8th grade field trip, there's the dance, there are all these activities that 8th graders get because you made it through 6th, 7th, and this is your year to be celebrated. You don't want to lose out on those opportunities because you let one comment, one bad day, one misunderstanding cause you to get into a fight. Because, we want all of our 8th graders to be able to be with us on the field trip and to be able to enjoy those end-of-year things. But we have seen people who've never had any issue, then they get to 8th grade, they have an issue, and then they're not allowed to go.
Yes.
And of course, that's not on us. We do our panel, which we'll talk more about. Is your peers will be a part of that decision. But you don't want to give people a reason to believe that you are not capable of being able to go and to have those experiences. So for our 8th graders, a little bit more on the line because you have more to lose. But for our 6th and 7th graders, it's the same thing we talked about. You don't want to start a pattern of this type of behavior.
Thank you. I looked at it that way. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and
Thank you.
giving us
really
your time to talk about this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Warriors, remember you are brave. Believe in your potential, respect your school and community, always do what is right, visualize your success, and engage in Excel learning.
Thank you all for stopping by. We'll catch you next time right here on the Brave Club.